Welcome back to the Wizard Shop and more high seas adventures on the Carver Santego. We've got a lot of stuff done on it, and we're going to go over what we've done in the last few weeks. Let's get started. So there's a lot of things going on at the business end of the boat here. I mentioned in a previous video that I never realized in this small area where the Outdrives actually mount is so much going on. There's tons behind this cover here. There is so much going on. One of the things some of the commenters recommended is on the exhaust bellows, which is connects to this oval port here and connects there onto the boat. A lot of people recommended not even putting the bellows, just putting an aftermarket kind of a bellow that goes there. So as you can see, there's the little boot here. It slips in and out as you move the Outdrive up and down. We also replaced the bearing. It's a nice brand new bearing and a seal that goes in there. If you've seen the video that we did on pulling these out, you'll realize that these bearings are shot. They are completely, you can hear them, they're just really, really bad. So I figured while I was there, I might as well just take care of everything. So we got new bearing in there. Another thing that was an issue is when I pulled this off, these sensors, the trim sensors that go on the sides here, the sensors were there, but the wiring was gone. And the wiring that goes inside of here was broken. These things weren't even working. I don't know how long they've been that way, but there's 4 sensors, 2 on each Outdrive, and they were both completely just mangled. You can see the wiring's mangled. We've got brand new ones ran with new wiring and a new watertight seal that goes up in there. So these are ready to be installed onto this. And the next thing I told you guys I'd be doing is these lines here, the hydraulic lines to the Outdrive hydraulic arms. The old ones, if you grab it in the wrong place, it'll actually poke your skin. It'll actually hurt. The metal is fraying so bad. It's actually completely gone in this section here. You can see they're completely shot. They were still working, they weren't leaking, but this is not something I want to trust out on the lake. These are really bad. Let me grab another one and show you. You can see all the pointy, sharp fraying. There the metal is missing, it's just cloth. I imagine that's from corrosion. It just eats the metal away over the years. These were never renewed or messed with, but they are now. I actually had a guy on eBay that was parting out an old boat that had the similar drives on this, and he had all these lines were fairly new for $100 for all of them, for both sides. I went ahead and bought them. I was like, that's a no-brainer. They're in very good shape. They look new. So I got all of those replaced on both sides. So now our hydraulics are happy. We're starting to put the boots back together, and we've got the trim sensors going back in. It's starting to come back together. And you remember on the last video we did, the dry boots had holes in them. It was letting water in. And we have brand new ones going in. They'll go right here over the drive bearing. All brand new bellows. One thing I still have yet to order is the shifter cable that goes through here. I have new shifter boots, but I need to get the cable and reassemble that. And then we can start putting the drives back together and have that done and behind us. So let's go ahead and move on to the top side of the boat and take a look at the engines. Alright, we'll use my handy dandy Skylift that I just bought, or man lift, or whatever you want to call it. Got this on an online auction. We're going to use it to maintain the building. We're going to paint the ceiling and do a whole bunch of other work. But we can use it to get on the boat instead of climbing a ladder. Let's do it. Alright, that makes it a lot easier than climbing up and down the ladder all the time. I guess I'm getting my money's worth already. Let's take a look in the engine bay. Okay, here we are in the engine area, and it has twin Mercruiser 3.7s. A lot of you guys have been watching the videos, following along. You already know this side had a blown head gasket. We had it all apart. The gasket for this elbow right here was also blown. We got a new one put on there. But what we did over the last week is go through all the fluids. There's power steering fluid right here that does the steering for left and right. We changed the engine oil in both of these. Put new antifreeze in both of these. And we changed the fluid here in these reservoirs that is used to raise and lower the outdrives. These are the hydraulic reservoirs here and here. So we got all the fluids changed. They both start and run really good. Really happy that this one wasn't damaged. I was worried we would get it apart and there would be damage inside. There's not. It runs really good. That one runs really good. The next test we can do is actually get this thing on the lake, give it some throttle and see how it does and check it out. But I know now that both engines start and run good, which they didn't before when I bought the boat. Let's head on in and see what Mrs. Wizard is up to.
So welcome back everybody to the cabin area. This is my domain and this is where I've spent a lot of time working. In the last video you saw that we cleaned up the floor. We got all that old hardwood floor that they glued down, that's really nasty subfloor adhesive. That's all been de-stickied. Working on getting the paint. Hasn't come in the mail yet. But one thing that got updated is on the Android based radio. It has it set up to where we can listen to the radio, and I guess if we wanted to surf the internet, I guess we could, but obviously some features that we're not going to be using. But one, if I flip this switch, is it turns on a backup camera, but in this case it's going to be a forward camera. Now obviously right now we're looking at the shop, so I guess right now I can see where the Wizard's working if I'm working in here, but it'll be great when we're on the water. We'll be able to see what's actually ahead of us if we're in the cabin area and wonder where the Wizard's driving us to. Now that was just a really small little addition that we've had. It's actually been installed for a while, but they didn't have the camera positioned well, so it was kind of upside down, and so obviously they've got that fixed. But the biggest area that I made some changes in this week is in the head. So why don't we head into the head? So hey everybody, it's me back behind the camera again, but here we are in the head, or the bathroom, and one of the things I did was I redid these cabinets. They were that beige color, and if we look at the wall, you can kind of still see that beige coloring, and it just really looked kind of outdated, and it didn't match the cabin area. So I went ahead and I pulled off all the cabinet doors, I took off the teak handles, and I refinished those. I also painted this lower section. Now some of it I wasn't going to paint, like some of the walls were just too much. One that was really annoying is this handle right here. Notice it's smaller, it's thinner. They're usually this high. Well, I think at some point somebody must have thought this was a drawer, but note the sink is right here. So this is what, it's just a dummy drawer. It doesn't open, it's actually just a solid piece of laminate on top of it, and they ripped so much, they actually had ripped it off. And kind of like a long piece here. So that I sanded down, and so now there's no way you can actually grab it. It's now just purely decorative, but does match the rest of the area. Now, painting that was a real pain because it had to come off. So when we open this, I had to reach blindly up below and get up in that little cavity up there with a very short little screwdriver and try and remove it. And luckily I did. It was a pain, but it got it done. Inside the cabinet, you can see I repainted those, made that gray. It's looking kind of old and dingy. Redid the teak on here as well. If we look up here in this area, this long cabinet here, we opened that guy. And in here, painted inside as well, and did the teak as also. So now that teak is going to be well oiled for a long time. The one last thing I want to work on is the floor. That floor will get painted the same as it is in the galley area, but you have to wait. Hasn't got here, but I think that'll be another great addition. As you see, that one wall there and the backsplash of the sink are also that almond color still, and they're just going to stay that way. They still look good. They're in nice condition, but it still looks really good. So that's what I was working on. After the last video, if you didn't check out that last video, that was some seriously stinky business there. It was bad. Oh, but if you didn't do that, make sure you're watching that video. That was great. But now that we got all that out of there, the bathroom is now ready. The head is ready for the next installation of a new toilet, maybe a cartridge toilet. We haven't figured fully that out yet. Haven't got one, so We'll figure that out eventually. But right now, it's in a good usable condition again. So that space is another one on my list of check. It's done. So let's go see what the wizard's up to.
Welcome to the helm, Mrs. Wizard.
Well, hello.
One of the things I've done recently is got rid of the captain's chair, or the seat. I literally can't fit in there. And I know a lot of you guys say that the bolsters on the side are good for rough water or whatever. But it doesn't matter. I can't physically fit in it. I know the solution isn't to lose weight. I've always had wide hips. Even when I was in the military and thin, I still probably wouldn't even fit in that chair. It's just the way it is. I have this new chair installed. Let me move out of the way so you can see it. As you can see, it mounted to the original base. I can still slide it back and forth. I can even fold it down if I need to. Fold it back up. And it's very, very comfortable for me. Also, some of you in the comments have said that when I'm going over rough waves or moving along really fast and hit some waves, that this type of chair I could get thrown out of it. The thing is we're not going to be taking this boat out in rough weather. We're not going to be taking out at speeds that's going to throw people out of the boat or throw people out of the chair. This boat will be capable of 20 knots, 23 knots or something like that is what I've understood that its top speed was, maybe more, 25. We were probably doing 10, 15 at the most time. Me and Mrs. Wizard's not interested in doing like rocket ship across the lake stuff. We're not interested in doing that stuff. In fact, we'd probably make us seasick or something. We'll just be cruising, trolling around, enjoying the scenery, and we're not interested in hopping waves or doing crazy stuff. So this chair will do just fine for that type of cruising along on the lake. So let's head on down to the ground level, or water level, I guess it should be, and we'll talk about what's next for the boat. All right, I'll climb down off of this thing. The next plans I have is once I get everything tidied up and finished on the Outdrives to actually put the legs onto the Outdrives and have that part done, get the water cooling situation sorted out for the engines, and then we're going to start installing things into the bilge, the new bilge pumps, the new water lines, and also the cassette style toilet, things of that nature. That's going to be on our next video. So we are probably only halfway through done with this boat. There's so much more to go. We've got the entire winter to continue on with the project, and we're definitely going to need it. There's a lot to do on this boat. Thanks for following along with the yacht project. Make sure if you're looking for any tools or any gift ideas or into the holiday season, we've got our Amazon affiliates link in the description below. I've got all the tools listed in the shop that we use. They're good, high quality tools. You could have a friend or family member actually go to the affiliate page and see what they'd be interested in, or if you want to find something yourself. But definitely you're going to get some tools there when you order them that's not going to be substandard or subpar tools. I kind of joked with a few mechanics and places I worked before that I need to borrow a wrench. They hand me a wrench and what is this, a TG&Y wrench? For some of us that are older, like Mrs. Wizard is older.
You want to come home tonight?
Yeah. You remember the store TG&Y. It's kind of like a Kmart or something, even below a Kmart. It was pretty low. So if you want to make sure for the holidays that loved ones or yourself are not getting TG&Y wrenches and pliers, you can check out the Amazon affiliates link. A lot better quality tools there. And as always, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, I really recommend you do that now. We've got so much to do on this, and we've got another secret project in the wing. You guys are going to love it. Thanks for watching.